Hello, everybody. I'm about a minute early, so if you are just now getting ready to hop on or thinking about it, welcome. If you're watching this in the y'all excuse me, I've been talking all day. And excuse the background noise. I'm, of course, in front of an open window because it's hot. If you're watching this on the rewind, welcome. Tonight, we are discussing Tayari Jones's book, An American Marriage. It is an Oprah book club favorite. And so everybody just going to drive a loud car right here. Okay. And I can say that this book ran my pressure up. It did. It just did. I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to get on here. I know that sometimes I can't see comments on my screen, which is really weird. So I'm going to think about maybe pulling it up on a different screen. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. We'll see. Hold on. So if I look crazy, it's because I'm clicking all over the place and I'm struggling to see because I took my glasses off. Because I don't like the glare in my glasses. So yeah, y'all just kind of deal with that for a minute. I'm going to mute my computer because I don't want to hear myself talking, double talking. I don't want to hear it. Excuse me if I'm sweating or if I look shiny. Like I said, it's hot. Very. Okay, I don't know why I can't see. I'm trying to think, where was I looking at when I got the comments last time? Hold on. Oh, hey, Rita. Hi, Robin. It's hot. Okay, Rita, I know you read this book. You finished it before I did. I can guarantee you that. This book made me real mad. And I thought allegedly had done me in. This one here just had me. First of all, hi, Robin. I miss you. Miss your little head. Yeah, listen. Between the job and my mom, hey, Dia. Robin said hi to Dia. Between the job and my mom and 50 million other engagements and obligations and stuff, I just wrapped the book up and I saved the last little bit. I was listening to it on Audible. I saved the last little bit of the book because I wanted to be fresh on the ending. So I just finished listening to it. This book made me so mad. I saved like the last hour or so for today. I was binge listening yesterday. And I'm upset. I'm really upset about this book. Now, Rita, I know you read it. In the beginning, did you okay, got some other people coming. In the beginning of the book, did you think that Roy had done this? Or did you think that maybe he had not? Because I thought that they were going to do a spin on whether he was guilty or not. I did not know that it was going to abruptly throw me into the movie. Okay, so you listened to Audible also. Was the changing of the voices difficult for you, Rita? Because flip-flopping back in the very beginning, like when it first started, I was like, who is this? I wasn't ready for the flip-flopping of the voices and how the gentleman reader, when he was reading Celestial's letters, he was like making his voice higher. To say that this book, and the book we're referring to, in case no one read it, some of you didn't read it, it's called An American Marriage. Okay, so let me back up and I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's about this couple. The husband's name is Roy. The wife's name is Celestial. Roy was... Y'all hear that? Roy and Celestial were sleeping at a hotel because they had went out of town to visit his parents. And they had gotten into a little bit of kind of slight of a misunderstanding. So in order to give her time to cool off, and it was just a misunderstanding because he he hadn't told her in the 18 months that they were married that his father was not his biological father. So she said he was lying, blah, blah, blah. It ain't that serious. But he went to go get ice from the ice machine, the bucket of ice went on. But he met a lady out there who needed some help with her, a leaky something in her hotel room. He went in, he helped her, and he left out, went back. Yeah, it was the plumbing stuff. Yeah, a bathtub, toilet, something like that. I think it was a toilet run, bathtub run, something like that. So he went in to help her, and, that gave him enough time and Celestial enough time to cool off. So when he gets back to the room, they kind of kiss and make up. They make a baby, and they fall asleep. As they're sleeping, the cops kick the door in and arrest him allegedly for beating and raping the woman in the other room. Hey, D.E. Eliot in the group. If you all are not familiar with D.E. Eliot, he's an author who wrote last month's book, Ruined. Ruined still, you did your thing with that one. But this book, I thought maybe something else had happened, but no, it was like, okay, this crime happened. It was real quick. Let's throw that to the side and now put him in prison for, I think, 12 years and then her on the outside, and let's see how their lives happen out here. And it kind of, I think that it threw me into the whole thing entirely it threw me into the mix too soon. I wasn't ready. But it did tell me a lot of their backstory, throughout the time and stuff. And he was in there doing hard time, fighting people for his life, all this kind of stuff. And she was just out here making dolls for a living and hanging with Andre, who I never liked from the jump. I never liked Andre. Never liked Andre. I still don't like Andre. So let me ask y'all this, because I know Mr. Elliott, Rita, both of y'all read it. Team Andre or Team Roy? Where were you up until about the middle of the book? Were you Team Andre or were you Team Roy, and why? I want to know. I ain't like him. Y'all know I ain't like him because I think he was a snake in waiting. But I want to know what you thought. Did you think he was a cool dude? I thought he was biding his time the whole time. And he really could have just shot his little shot way earlier instead of waiting until they were married and standing up there at the altar with them, best man in the wedding and all. Yeah, Andre, trash. Because here's the thing, and maybe it's just me, because all of us three right here from Ohio, boom. Maybe it's just us, but you do not go after your boy's girl, because from around here, you end up dead doing that. Listen, Big Roy is the homie. Big Roy is the homie. D.E. Eliot said he's Team Big Roy. Big Roy was such an amazing father, an amazing man, an amazing husband. And he was just so full of wisdom. I was like, why can't everybody just sit down and talk to Big Roy and get their life straight? And I like Big Roy for keeping an eye on Andre so that Little Roy and Celestial can have their time. I like him. He was the GOAT with that one. So it seems like we were all Team Roys, whether it was big or little, we was all Team Roys. Now, what got me, and I knew something like this was going to happen. Maybe he wasn't his boy. He was a snake who was waiting, or a dog waiting for leftovers, because that's what he essentially did. You've been listening on the other side of the wall with this dude and all these women all this time. You hook your friend up with him. No, he didn't hook them. He introduced them. What did you think was going to happen? Stupid. Anyway, so the catch for me was that's where I was going. The catch for me was when Little Roy gets into prison and finds out that his cellmate is his biological father. I didn't see that one coming. uh, at all. No kind of way. I was like, oh, okay, that's a loop. But you know what? The crazy thing is that happens a lot in today's society. So I'm kind of glad she put that in there. Yeah, I didn't see that. I did think that there was something else going on. Didn't see that it was going to be him. I feel like that was Celestial and Andre are trash, and they deserve everything they get. Their little trash house. Okay, so this book, yeah, this book was like a really bad strawberry letter. Like, I get that they were only married for 18 months. I get it. And she, they call it like a grafted sapling. I get that. However, I feel like once you take vows, ain't that pretty much it? And for the father to say, when he asked for her hand and he was like, she's not mine to give, or her hand isn't mine. I get where he was thinking like she's her own person, but she also is her own piece of trash because she went periods without speaking to him, and she's his only lifeline. Like, he had put everything into loving her even more so after he got incarcerated. He was already trying his best to be a good husband and have babies and all this kind of stuff. That baby thing that was bad. But he was already putting his all into this marriage, and then he put it even more so once he got incarcerated because he didn't have nothing else to look forward to or live. And I get that they were both kind of struggling with this newfound self, but for her to go without talking to him, and then they spat and getting back and forth and digging at each other in these letters, it was just petty, and it was something that could have been overcome. Now, when she wrote him that letter talking about, I can't be your wife no more, that's when I knew she was a trash person, because something like that you say in person. Yeah, little Roy, he was like, yeah, so remember that time our baby, and that was bad. And she was like, let's not talk about this again. I get it, and I get why they chose not to have the baby, because you ain't gonna be home until the child almost 12 years old. I'm gonna be out here a single mother. Like, I really want to drag this baby up here every Sunday to come visit you. I get it. And he brought it up in that letter, and that was really bad. But here's the thing. She mad at him about keeping secrets when she kept a big old secret herself. Yeah, she did lose interest when she had that abortion. And maybe I'm thinking it's because of what had happened before. Remember when she was with that professor of hers, and that was her way of breaking up the relationship, was she had the abortion and she severed everything. So maybe that in her mind, that's what you do. Oh yeah, Keisha, I'm looking. I got Your Books Turn Me On shirt from the shop. But I just feel like Celestial didn't have good attachments with people. Like, if she had great parents, but she just was off when it came to knowing how to really love somebody. That was just it. And maybe her and the snake Andre deserved each other because she don't know what she doing. Yeah, that was her second one. She didn't know what she was doing with life, and Andre is out here not knowing what to do because he grew up with a mom who was struggling and a daddy who didn't care. So maybe that's why them two trash people deserve each other. But I was heartbroken. And then when he got news that he was getting out, first of all, let me back up. Remember when she told him that in a letter, and he removed her from all of his stuff, from his visiting and all that kind of stuff, and the only thing they could do was write these little short quippy letters at each other. They were both being really petty. However, I feel like she should have been a little bit more understanding, because she was all he had, especially when his mom died. She was all he had, and now you just gonna up and leave me? Like, wow. I'm thinking the minute he got incarcerated, Andre was over there on some there baby type stuff. She was too privileged and not aware of life, period. She was way too privileged. Every mess she ever had, somebody came and cleaned it up for her, and I feel like that's why she's a trash human. Hi, Lucretia. That's why Celestial was a trash human to me. And when he wrote her and told her, I'm done with you, all this other kind of stuff, and then they just started dealing with each other through the lawyer, he thought once he was getting out, she didn't divorce me. I still got a chance here. And that's where I feel like she was even more foul. Because if you were really done and you sleeping with his friend every night and 2 years has passed, in those 2 years, you could have filed some paperwork. And because she didn't, that's why that whole snowball effect happened once he got out. Now, when he got out, and I wish he didn't tell her and just showed up. Yup. I wish he would have just showed up at the house, because he would have showed up and his friend would have been in his pajamas or something like that. Especially seeing as, or he would have been asleep, especially seeing as how his key still fit. And that's another place where she wrong. She never filed paperwork. She didn't change the locks on the house. He come home thinking everything is everything, and it ain't. But I'm glad, though, that he hooked up with, what's her name, Davina. I'm glad he hooked up with Davina, though, because she the only one out here who cared. Her and his daddy. They the only two that cared. And I guess Davina was from like way back. I don't know. I wish they had to explain that a little bit more than what they did. I wish they had kind of fleshed out Davina a little more. I kind of thought maybe he was going to end up with the little girl who worked at the Poupée store. What was her assistant's name? Tamar or something like that. I was kind of thinking he was going to end up with her, with the little baby, but evidently that wouldn't be so. But I'm glad he got the backtrack. When he hugged her and she said she had to fill up with air after he hugged her so tight, I was kind of like, so you just stiff as a board hugging your husband? Oh. And I made some notes. She said, I'm with Andre now. And he was like, I know. And then he said, I don't care what you did while I was gone. And then he says, ask me to forgive you so I can say yes. First of all, this is how you know he's fictional. Because men, these around here, don't say that. I wasn't at first, but at the end, I was okay with him hooking up with her. Yeah. I'm glad he did, because if not, he'd have just been out here floating by himself and I'd have been mad. I'd have been real mad. I was not okay at first before he went to Celestial. I was not okay. But after he went there, I was like, well, shoot. I'm glad he got somebody to fall back on. But yeah, it kind of messed me up that she get the, well, you know, how it ended. I'm going to turn the page because I had several pages of notes on this one, two. And I only usually do bullet points, but this one pissed me off so bad. I was writing like whole sentences. The other thing that he said to her when he had her up against that wall in the kitchen or up against the marble counter, one of those, he said, even if you go in innocent, you don't come out that way. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Because think about what you got to do, what you have to go through in there in order to survive. He told her that night about being stabbed with a sharpened toothbrush from a guy, totally unprovoked. Hi, Nisi. Totally unprovoked, you know, fighting and stuff. And he said he didn't really do anything wild in there, but he had to survive. I think, didn't he mention, yeah, Andre in Ohio, we got a lake around here that we mysteriously dump people in. That's all I'm saying. We would never know where Andre went. Like, where Andre go? I don't know. I ain't seen Andre in a minute. And it would have just been like that. Like, whole family would be like, I don't know. Nobody would be speaking your name because that's how we do it. He would have got what they call a Youngstown tune-up. And that's where you go to start your car and it explodes like in The Godfather. Like, that's what would have happened to him around here. You don't steal your best friend's wife, not his girl. Like, they do that for girlfriends up here. So can you imagine doing that to his wife and you in his house that him and her picked out? You are a trash human. When this is what I found out to be a little weird. Anybody else think it was weird when Roy called Davina from Celestial and from their house? He called her that night, like in the middle of the night, and she was on some, well, what is it? What we doing? Because before he left, she was on some don't call me no more, don't come over here, leave me alone. I know a lot of people who have said that. But then after the fact, he calls her at like 3 something in the morning. Somebody out here sending random friend requests. He called her at like 3 something in the morning, and she actually talked to him. And I'm like, you a good one, because honey, I would have known, fam. I would have, that was me denying a friend request. I would have literally hung up. But I mean, caller ID, like I wouldn't have answered it at all. But maybe she thought because it was a number she didn't know, because I'm quite sure he didn't have a cell phone, popping right out the prison. But then again, maybe he got a little burner. But I would not have been talking to him at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then he's up walking around the house, standing outside Celestial's door. When you as a husband have to beg your wife for sex and she's telling you that you must use protection and you just came home from prison, that's all the sign you need. That's all the sign you need. All the sign you need that she has legit moved on and don't want nothing to do with you. Nope. Trash human. And I think that, I'm sorry, I'm going to be looking all around. She's a trash human. And I don't even know if there is anything I can say that would redeem them. I'm just over them something terrible. Her and Andre deserve each other. If y'all can't see me, it's because I'm fooling around. Her and Andre deserve each other, and they stink because I said so. I don't know. What did he say? The cologne that was in his box of stuff, Cool Water. You know he was locked up a minute. You know what else that I found interesting? And I wrote it down. She sent his clothes to charity and boxed some of them up. She didn't want this man back, period. Period. If you box up somebody's stuff and you donate their stuff to charity, you have literally, they're dead to you. They're literally dead to you. And that's what she did. She just, and they're on some, oh, well, he was going to be gone for 12 years and we didn't know when he was going to be coming home. If you knew you had a lawyer fighting for his case, why would you pack his stuff up and just make everything final like that? That didn't sit well with me. Now, and then he threw that, yeah, she was real cold for that. Then he threw that tantrum when he found that racket because he was looking for his tooth. When he threw that tantrum and was beating up the Volvo with that racket, I felt a little bit like he was justified. He wake up the next day to bacon, house smelling good. He really thinking he got a shot. And she's pretty much like, yeah, no, last night still stands. Yeah, it's going to be a no for me, dog. I feel like he was justified in taking that racket to the Volvo and tearing it up. And then when he realized he was jacking up his racket and he got that little double-sided axe thing, I mean, he was mad. You did him dirty. Be glad he didn't choke you, because around here, the book was sort of trashy. And I don't know if it was trashy because it was probably something that could literally happen, not here in Ohio, because I'm telling you, it would have ended with, oh my God, you slept with my wife, pow, pow. And then that would have been it. And she'd have been scared to leave Roy, and she'd have just been with Roy for the rest of her life. But it was just kind of, the setup was so bad that this happened to him, and he was just laying in bed with his wife, minding his business. Yeah, and the lawyer was her uncle, and they was paying him and stuff. And then for her to blurt out, Roy getting out at dinner. For her to blurt out, Roy is getting out at dinner while your boo thing over here, and then for him to get up like, yeah, and we getting married. It was that, for these people to have good money like that, that was some old Roseanne hillbilly-ish goings on. And for him to think it was okay to propose to somebody else's wife. First of all, is this the Bold and the Beautiful? Who proposes to somebody else's wife, or who proposes to somebody and you're already married? That's not how this goes. But then again, when you figure you grew up with your daddy being a gigolo and out here leaving your mama and moving on in with Miss Jeanette and popping off Tyler and whoever this Michaela, I remember popping off all these other kids and just leaving you in the dust. You kind of are a trash man, and you don't know how to man. So this is what you're doing. A solid man would not have done this to his friend. Yeah. People actually do go through this kind of stuff. They actually do, because folk can't wait. And when he went in on her and said, I'm sorry, 5 years. Hey, Crystal. He was saying 5 years was too long for you to learn to keep your legs closed or something like that, he said. And I was like, I, I was just sitting there like, wow, oh, okay, well, yeah, praise the Lord, sir. Like, he really got into her the next day when he woke up. He got into her, and I was like, and she was like, well, Andre coming back. He was like, I don't care, I'm talking to you. And you know what? Honestly, he did have to have separate conversations. You wasn't no sit down and tell him together. They wanted to talk to him. No, he needed to get his stuff out the way with Celestial, and then he needed to handle that stuff with Andre pretty much the way he did. Yeah, this is black people with money. Yeah, with a ghetto mindset. This is what happens like when project folk move on up and got like boatloads of money, but you still hood. And that's why she was telling him wear protection, because she wasn't wearing any with Andre, and she wanted to make sure that the baby, if she was going to get pregnant, was going to be Andre's. And not like Elliot's book, Ruined. If y'all didn't catch the Let's Chat About This discussion about Ruined, you need to go back and watch the video before this. We did D.E. Eliot's book Ruined last month, and that, but Jesus, you want to talk about some you are not the father, and that was horrible. Eliot, horrible. Just say that one last time. That was bad what you did. For him to find out like that was bad. But that was, and then when Andre finally pulled up, because you know he got out of there before it was even first light, got out of Big Roy's house. For when Andre pulled up and Little Roy was hacking down, what was the name of that tree? Oh, geez, what was the name of the tree? Hickey. He's axing up Hickey, his old hickory tree, and tearing it up. Why would you walk up on a man with an axe? You big dummy. And then when the fight pop off, because you know it's got to be a fight, when the fight pops off and he tells, he's describing it in his mind about how, you know, this man has been working out while he was in prison, and I'm just over here colding. What he meant to say was, I got beat up. That's what he wanted to say was, yeah, well, he was kicking my behind, and I was just kind of like covering my head. You know that's what he was doing. He was tucking and covering, because even Little Roy said that Andre wasn't really hitting him back. Wasn't really hitting him back. You got knocked out. Probably. Then she's like, I'm going to call the police. When she said, I'm going to call the police, I thought to myself, you going to call the police on this man who been out 72 hours tops? You really going to call the police on this man and send him right back? Wow. Further solidifies the fact that she's trash. This definitely could have been a Maury show episode. Definitely. And she could have run off screaming in the back, covering her face up. Definitely could have been. I don't know why Andre would challenge Roy. You don't do that to anybody who has spent more than 30 days in jail. And 30 days is probably pushing it. Motorcycles and stuff. Yep, motorcycle 1, 2. You don't want to challenge anybody who's been in jail longer than 2 weeks, because after 2 weeks, your mindset is different. And he was in there for 5 years doing nothing but lifting weights and thinking about his wife and how things was going to get back to normal when he got home. That was all he was thinking about. And then he get home and you with his wife, and you walk up on him and he got a hatchet. Zendaya was sweeter. Zendaya was a sweetheart. However, that was kind of foul how he found out about that baby not being his, Elliot. Foul. He was foul for that. I ain't see that coming. He was foul. Um, then let me see. That Davina. He had 5 whole years of hatred and testosterone built up. And when he said to her, "You're locked up in a cage like an animal, and you just thinking about how the rest of the world is out here and women are out there and they just all living happy-go-lucky lives, and you're stuck in there with other animals," I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. You in there with a whole bunch of people, like you ever see animals at the zoo just pacing back and forth? You in there just pacing back and forth, thinking about how everybody out there is just living their life. You think you're gonna step yourself back into your shoes, and 5 years in innocent though. Like, had I just stayed at my mom and daddy house and made my wife uncomfortable, none of this would have happened. Or had I just not went to go get ice, had I just been ignorant and not helped that lady with her leaky pipe, had she not blown up at me about me not telling her that this man wasn't my biological father, one tiny little different thing could have changed the whole trajectory of their lives, and they could have had a baby and went on about their business, and I wouldn't be over here hating everybody named Andre. And that just goes to show you how one decision can change everybody's life. Everybody's life. He didn't tell her about Big Roy not being his biological dad. She got mad. He went to go get ice. Because he was out there getting ice, he saw the lady. She needed help. He helped her. He go back. She now claims that he's the one who broke in and beat and raped her, and your whole life is messed up. She never would have laid eyes on you. Never would have known you existed had your wife not got mad over something that didn't even really concern her. Why are you mad? It's not like somebody said it wasn't your daddy. Everything is all hinged together. But I guess it works for the good, because in those 5 years, we found out that she's trash and she can't be nobody's wife because she's trash. And we found out that Andre is just a punk and got beat up and want to stay with a woman who don't want to be nobody's wife because he's a punk and he's a snake and been laying in wait for this woman for probably 20 some years, probably since puberty, waiting for this girl. I don't understand why you didn't just nab her in the beginning. Oh, because you're a snake. That's why. Oh, okay, moving on. I wish we had a little bit of a backstory on how Davina came in, on how she came to be a part of the story. Because he gets out and he's just like, yeah, I'm going over to Davina's house. And I'm like, who is that? And I maybe need to listen to it again because I need to see if she was like a friend from the past or something. But I don't recall Davina being in the book. And she got a grown son. How old is she? If her son grown and she don't want no more kids. Yeah. I need to know if Davina is older than you. She don't sound it. But when she said to him, when he called her when Celestial was in the shower, you're doing a whole lot of calling for me and you at your wife's house. But when he called her when Celestial was in the shower and she was saying, you know, I need to know, it could be the eggnog talking, but I need to know, was this something or nothing? And he goes, something? Sir, which is it? And she's like, you don't know? Yeah, that kind of, I wish they would have done a little bit more with that part too, Rita. I really, really wish they had fleshed out Davina a little bit more. Because the way they was talking about Tamara, whatever her name was, Tamara, I was thinking he was going to end up with her raising her little boy just like Big Roy raised him. That's what I was thinking. But how about her girl, Tamara, telling her once Celestial went to go get their coats, you're going to have to let her go. You're going to have to break your own heart. He should have listened and just left. But he tried to make it work a little bit longer. And when it ended, I was like, oh, okay, they're going to take a shot. Then it was like epilogue. I was like, what? And they started writing them letters. And I was like, man, then her attempt at making it right and that having sex with him that time. Bye, Celestial. Bye. I don't like her, and I don't like nobody with that name now. Her saying, I'm having a baby. Telling him in a letter she having a baby. First of all, we don't care. But telling him in a letter she's gonna have a baby, but she's not getting ready to rush off to the JP because I don't want to be a wife, and he doesn't want to be married to a woman who doesn't want to be a wife. But we got communion. We commune with each other. Are you a hippie star child, girl? Are you high? We commune with each other. Get out of here. You and your communion baby and Andre's trifling behind. Goodbye. But then when Roy hit her back with the don't laugh, but I am the one running to the JP, I was like, ow. I promise you, I was laughing. I was like, now, I'm just glad he's happy. Because through the whole book, I just kept thinking, like, I need him to be okay. Forget everybody else, even though it was real bad that his mama died and he wasn't at the funeral. And Andre is there helping bury his mama. But in the whole entire time, I was just like, forget everybody else. I need to make sure that Roy is okay. So at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I keep looking down here at myself. At the end of the day, I was just thankful that Roy was okay. Because, yeah, it could have been a book more about Celestial, but I don't like her. So I'm glad it ended in his favor, and it ended okay on both sides. But in my opinion, I feel like he won a little bit more than her because he's going to have a peaceful life. And Davina was the notary on them divorce papers. Ooh, ain't nothing like having your new boo solidify your ex-boo. Nothing like it. That's good right there. If you could have, how would either of you have changed the way the book ended? How would you have changed the way the book ended? If you were to change anything, what would you change? Rita, that's a cute baby in your profile picture. Where you get that baby from? She's pretty. Let me tell y'all why you're thinking and why you're typing. One of these days, I'm going to have one of y'all host this with me. What I would have done differently would have been for her to tell him about this marriage to his face, like a real person and not a coward in a letter. I wished that she had her uncle draw up them divorce papers while he was still incarcerated, and he didn't come home thinking he was going to resume his life the way it was, and that he was going to come home to the same loving household that he was building in the 18 months before he went to jail. Some kind of way I would have put Davina in there, whether she was on some church prison ministry and they met on like visiting day or something. I don't know how I would have worked that out, but it would have been a happier ending for him. Definitely. Cause I would have given him the child that he wanted. And I wouldn't have given her no child because she had her chance. That was mean. I'm sorry. That was a little mean. Maybe her too, but I probably would have just wrote her off and never thought about her, or had him pass her on the street one day in Atlanta after he had got out and been exonerated and everything. And here he is with the wife and the kids, and the wife is pregnant, and she just with Andre and Baron or something. Like, that's mean. But no, or maybe she had like a kid with Andre, and for them to just kind of pass each other like ships in the night. That's probably what I would have done. I would have had her cut it off while he was in jail and get divorced while he was in jail. It was so heartbreaking to hear all the anticipation in his voice. Very good voice actor. To hear all this anticipation in his voice, and to have him thinking he's getting ready to come home to all this love and all this, mushy stuff, and his key still fits. And she didn't divorce me and my key still fits. This is all a sign. All a sign that she's indecisive and she don't deserve you. That's what it's a sign of. But I would have changed that and had it not be like that. And if you want to shack up with Andre, don't do it in the house that he was building with you. Motorcycle season. I think that's the one thing I would have changed. Feel free to jump in and tell me where y'all would have changed anything, if you would have changed anything at all. Because not all the time people are out here, making those kind of changes. Sorry, I'm looking for comments because sometimes I can't see them. Sometimes I can. Yeah. I'm just looking at this again, like 5 years of hatred. So, hold on. I would make Celestial suffer. I would have made her suffer too, girl. I promise you I don't like her. I'm going to find somebody with this name and not like them because I'm petty like that. Your granddaughter is beautiful, Rita. I would have loved for his mother. Yes. His mom died. And then for Celestial to use his parents' relationship against him on some, I saw how he loved your mother and I knew that this wasn't what that was. It's what it was on my end. She did me dirty. And I feel like it was me, period, because I was the one like listening to it. And I wanted her to go away. She was wrong to him. She was wrong. And I don't feel like he deserved that. Not at all. I don't feel like he deserved that at all. His mother, I really wish his mom could have been there when he got out. But as we all know, that happens a lot where you're incarcerated and a parent passes away, a loved one passes away, a child is born. All kinds of things happen while people are incarcerated. And it's kind of sad. It's really, really sad that this happens to people, but it's true. His mother was really nice. I kind of thought it was weird that he called his mother Olive. Not Mama and Daddy, but Olive. And she was basically calling her parents, I don't even remember. I know their last name was Davenport. See, you and I both thinking the same thing, Rita. She should have cut him off while he was still in jail. Don't have that man in there clinging to this as his only hope, just to get out and find out that it's not. And then that's why people go nuts, and that's why people do destructive things when they get out. When he was chopping down that tree, and then he beat up Andre, and then he went back to the tree and was bashing his head on it. That's a man who's gone far, and you probably gonna have a hard time reaching him. Probably gonna have a really hard time reaching him. And it was just, that's the end. And then he's laying there bloody, cops all there and stuff. And then the cops are like, so who's the husband? And they looking at Andre and he's like, yeah, no. And Andre had to tell him his address. Ha. I'm still shocked Andre had a house and out here talking about we'll put you up in my house. No, you're not. I'm supposed to live in your house and you're supposed to shack up with my wife? What kills me is that this is not a girlfriend. This is a wife. This is a whole wife. Till death do us part kind of situation. And nobody was taking it seriously. Nobody was taking it seriously. At the end of the day, Celestial should have suffered a little bit more. I don't think she should have been allowed to have a happy ending. But that's Tayari's decision. When I write a book, tragedy all over the place. I promise you, somebody gonna come out victorious, and I like feeling like you got what you deserved. Do I feel like she deserved happiness? No. Continue making your little dolls. Baron. Continue making your little dolls. Baron. That's what would have happened. That's definitely what would have happened with me. That's what I would have done. Y'all pray for me. God ain't through working on me yet, but that's what I would have did. And if I ever write a book, somebody gonna suffer, especially if you do somebody wrong. I don't feel like everybody gets to live a happy life because you do have to suffer your consequences. It never said how he dealt with that so many pieces. I did feel like there was a lot left out too. Um, Honestly, I feel like Roy wasn't just gonna, and maybe that's why they skipped from end to epilogue and they kind of picked up maybe some months later, like a lot of months later, because I feel like before Roy could commit himself to Davina, Roy gonna need some therapy. Because what you're not gonna do is drag all that baggage and bring it over here and set it down and expect me to help you unpack it. I feel like Roy could have really used some therapy. Absolutely. To help get him over all that was going on. I'm surprised the phone ain't ringing since I've been here. He was a good guy, and I would like to see how the future for him ended. Yeah, yeah. Evidently, him and Davina just gonna shack up and be happy and married and just live off the fat of the land. And they did have him and his father have a barber shop. What is it? Locks and Lineups or something like that. That was cute. So I can see that he's going to be successful. You know, he's going to get his life back on track. But he had 5 years stolen from him. And I kind of almost feel like the state owed him some money and he need to have like big money and buy her business and close it. I'm such a tourist. I promise you. Like, yeah, I would have bought her business and closed it. That's just me because I'm a little rude. But I want her to suffer. I want her and Andre to suffer for what they did to him because I feel like they crushed him so bad. So bad. Like, you just want to hug Roy and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Did you pick up that her mother really didn't care for her? She knew something was up with her. Yep. It's weird. And then at the end, she talking about, oh, me and my parents, we don't really talk because they know you trifling. Because they know you trifling. Boop. They all sitting down and you talking about Roy getting out and he goes, yeah, we get married. And her parents was like, the uncle, the lawyer uncle, I can't remember what they called him, but they called him by his last name. Banks? So, no, I don't know what his last name was. His wife was like, first of all, y'all need to tell him thank you because he been working real hard. When she did that after they was jumping on them about getting engaged and she said, we're going to back this bus up and y'all going to tell him thank you. I was like, he got a nice wife. And then he was like, baby, leave that alone. And she was like, she had asked him that in one of their discussions. Yeah. Yeah. His mother's letter that was in his box of stuff that Celestial didn't throw away. I found that to be real interesting, how the mother was saying, you know, it's not that I don't like her, I don't know her. I need you to bring this woman down here for us to look at and see. That was really interesting. And then for Big Roy to feel like Celestial telling Olive that Roy's biological dad was in the jail with him killed her. And for Celestial to tell little Roy that no, she said, leave it to Walter to, or did she call him Nathaniel? Leave it to Walter to ride in and save the day. Yes, get the t-shirt. It's on the website, chattypassenger.com right there. I'm sorry, I had to pull it off. Y'all know I'm short. But yeah, this one is Your Books Turn Me On. I got another one that says I'm attracted to your books. I'm such a nerd. And I was walking to the store today and the guy was like, oh, you must read a lot of books. I do. I like reading, talking, and being nosy. But I only like talking sometimes because, listen, if I'm just running into a Walmart, trust me, I'm already in a bad mood because I don't like Walmart. Just don't even say that. Just wave and keep it moving. I hate Walmart. Walmart makes my nerves bad because stuff is everywhere and I'm short and everything is always up high and I keep thinking it's going to fall on me. I don't like it. And there's always 50,000 people in there. And I promise you, I was in there, I think last Friday night, and it was the first time in a couple of months. I ran in the store literally for candy to throw out at the African American Festival parade that I had to go to the next day. Literally just ran in there for candy to throw to the children. And I go in, I get the candy, and I'm like, yes, I don't want to bother. I'm make it out of here. I ain't talking to nobody. Yes. I'm on the phone because that's what I do to like my safety. I'm on the phone and I'm running. I get the candy. Yay. As I'm walking out, I think I've made it and I'm safe now. As I'm walking out, there's a person coming right at me who, hi, and hugs me and everything, even though I'm clearly like, oh, okay, yeah. Doing those kind of things. Yeah. I would include if he had a relationship with his dad, because that's who he has to be dealt with. Yeah, you know what? Little Roy did say he visited Walter on Sundays. And he's getting old in there, and it's hard to watch him. It's hard to watch him get old. So yeah, Little Roy does kind of have some type of relationship with Othaniel. That was in the epilogue. And the only reason why I know that is because I literally just got done listening to the epilogue right before I signed on. Yeah, I want her with nothing. I don't want her to have nothing. Nothing. She took everything away from him. I don't want her to have nothing. They took everything from him. Everything. I want his house, his wife, his everything. His clothes, his drawers, like everything. I want them to suffer. I wanted Andre to be like sterile or something. That would have sucked if she could have babies, but he was sterile. Surprise. Andre's father and that dynamic really let me see why Andre was so trash. It just did. All right. So, Rita, we're going to kind of think I'm going to be off in about 8 or 9 minutes, because this book right here, we can talk about forever. I think for next month, I'm thinking on, and I didn't really want to do duplicate authors so close together. However, I think for next month, I want to do Monday's Not Coming. What do you think on that one? That's a Tiffany Jackson, the one who did Allegedly. When did we do Allegedly? Let me look. That's a Tiffany Jackson one. And I think we did Allegedly a couple of months ago. Let me see here. Okay, we did Allegedly in March, and we did Children of Blood and Bone in April, Ruined in May, and now this one here for June. I'm thinking of doing, yeah, I really kind of want to do Monday's Not Coming for next month. And then Elliot has yeah, mothers can't see what their sons can't. And listen, mothers can see what their children can't see, period. Because my mama told me some stuff, and I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, honey. She was right. She was so right. And had I just listened, my whole life would be a little different. However, I'm kind of glad I didn't, just for one small 21-year-old reason. I think, yeah, I think I want to do, you know what? Big Roy just represents what happens when men stand up. And for that, for him alone, I'm grateful for this book, because he is the prime example of it ain't got to be your child for you to be an excellent parent. Doesn't have to be, because we saw Andre's dad be trifling, and that was his child. But we saw Big Roy come in and say, I'm going to give this child my name. I'm going to raise him as mine, and nobody's going to be able to tell me any different. This is my kid. And I think that was so good. What I didn't really like was the fact that Olive went and had her tubes tied so that Big Roy couldn't have any children of his own, because she didn't want him to treat him different. That was kind of, I don't think I would have done that. I think I would have changed that. And I also think it was weird that both of them were only children. No, all three of them were some only children. I feel like somebody should have, well, Andre wasn't technically. He had half siblings. You know, Black people don't really say half, but he had some half siblings. The boy and the girl that his father had with his second wife. Did you catch Andre's dad saying, and he made it really, really clear, I didn't leave you, like I was hoeing, and then your mama put me out? A lot of people, I saw that as, you know what, she put him out, and he took that as, okay, you put me out instead of forgiving and taking me back. I'm really finna go hard. And that's what he did. A lot of people, a lot of women, especially nowadays, will put somebody out thinking, oh, he'll be back. Girl, sometimes they don't. You got to watch. But then, in another sense, if you keep taking them back, it just shows them that they can keep doing what they're doing. Set those ground rules from the beginning. If he cheated in the beginning, there was a strawberry letter. I don't think it was today. It wasn't today. Might have been yesterday where, yeah, because today was something about being best friends. I think it was yesterday where this wife wanted to fix her marriage with a threesome because her husband was a cheater. And they had known each other for 20 years, but they'd only been married for 3, and he cheated on her time and time again. Well, you let him. You took him back the first time he cheated, so that just let him know he can keep doing it. Set some ground rules. The first time somebody act up, just be done with it. Because now you can't tell him that he has to be monogamous because that's all he knows. That's all he knows. And I'm sorry, you can't change one of those. How can you be so cruel to someone? Yeah, this book had a whole lot of people being cruel to a whole lot of people. Roy wasn't cruel. He said some out the way stuff in a couple letters, but he wasn't cruel. Celestial didn't really say cruel things. She did cruel things. And Andre was just cruel. Andre had no redeeming qualities for me. None. I think now I just want to get a shirt that says Team Roy. Like, trash. Trash. Or just Andre is trash. Andre is trash. All right, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. Rita, thank you for jumping on fresh off work. I appreciate you for doing that, for coming in and chatting with me about this book. And yes, I think I'm going to make an announcement probably tomorrow stating that next month's book will be Monday's Not Coming. Elliot's got one coming out in August. So we may end up reading that one for August, and I'll keep you posted on that one because he's got to get back to me on some particulars about that book. So yeah, I think we'll do Monday's Not Coming for July. Wow, this summer is gonna be busy. I got a lot of stuff going on, concerts and stuff like that I have to be at and do things at. It's not like I can just go spectate, although I would love. Just draw my ink pen. I would love to just spectate, but yeah, going to events when I have to actively work them is not as fun as people think. But yeah, I think we're gonna do Monday's Not Coming, and I'm probably gonna do that one on Audible too because I don't have the time to hold a book and read. It's easier for me to put in like Bluetooth headphones and go for what I know that way. So I think that's what I'm going to do with Monday's Not Coming. I'm going to put up the official Monday's Not Coming poster or whatever post tomorrow to let everybody know what it is. But read it because you're sitting here, you know it first. Like, you know everything first. You knew about the t-shirts first, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget, check out chattypassenger.com. Your books yeah, your books turned me on. I'm gonna wear this to Barnes and Noble one day and just nerd out. I also have the one that says Bad and Blurty, so I might do that one too. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on with me, everybody, and for watching this. And if you have not read An American Marriage, this is full of spoilers, and I'm quite sure there's stuff we left out, so go ahead and read it anyway. Then come back on and get in the comments because, hey, we will always talk about stuff. That's what we do. We're a chatty passenger and the backseat drivers. So thank you all so much for being on with me. I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.